This is Gerald Tuovanwas. Every letter and letter combination not only respects the way how you can build up forms around it, it also tells you how to approach the object and how we can communicate with the object. And the main focus is actually about our focus. What kind of focus do we have by naming things as they are? And I will give you an example of all these aspects with the words of in two other translations, forest, and then the French version FORêT, and then the Dutch version BOS. Are they all somewhat the same, or is it a variation of a description that is also sensing the things a bit similar? Let's find out with these three words. But we start, of course, from our approach towards the forest itself. So we're standing in front of the forest and we name it. So the naming is not just describing the forest, it's also describing how we should approach the forest. In this way, the F, the F is like the paths towards it, which go all directions. And so when you go towards the forest, and they also go into all these kinds of directions. The same way as also the forest is also like a gigantic tree with a path that goes into all the directions. You almost got lost in it, in all these paths that you can approach there, that you can go there. And they divide itself almost like a tree branch itself. The O around it continues a little bit with these all kinds of directions, so it's not completely steady of focus, but O is that bigger focus of that area which I focus upon, so it's spreading itself towards a bigger focus. That's what it is. So you also are going to get lost into the bigger picture. And the branches themselves, of course, they will also spread itself further into the environment. And spreading, of course, that's also, and meanwhile, this is spreading into this bigger focus or environment. This is still somewhat continuing because every letter influences the next one, so it will continue into that area. This will connect itself then to the opposite, so with for already, you know that it's spreading itself like for is also the beginning of fog, by the way. But then it's going to for, the for is connecting itself, so it will in that way, by the word that will continue, connect itself further, and it will connect itself via the e, so, and it will connect itself to time or time process, but we know also that it will continue into S. The S, it will be a feedback process from the outside, and they will of course be somewhat erratic at the outside, and these erratic movements will go back inside. So in a way you can say, yeah, there's a going towards it and going back to it is somewhat, so we focus on that thing somewhat in the middle. The same thing will happen with FORêT, but without the S, so without the outer effects at the end. So now this focuses a little bit more onto the place. The T is that place, that function of the place where these processes can be provided. I don't know why it's written like that, but it is as if it can be any region under its wings. So it can be any of these regions why this effect of going in and having a feedback there will reside. And there will be that kind of feedback process. It's a bit very chaotically that I explained it, but it's not a perfect expression in terms of artistry, but there is, you can sense there is that kind of feedback process. You're going in and it's getting back also in the feedback process. In this way, it's getting back in towards the place. It's going back to the place into form as well as in energy. Let's go to BOS then, which is the Dutch word. Is it the same thing? It's a bit more global, not going inwardly. It's focusing upon the form outwardly. So this outwardly form is expressed by B, so it's expressing also outwardly. To O, also to the focus of that global surroundings. It's the environment. It's about an environment where things are extending. Again to S, to this outer region context with some feedback or some pushback actually. Again going to that feedback process. And the feedback process will be expressed a little bit better. I will show you this feedback. So you have this expression outwardly contained within O into the environment and going back in and having balanced proportions in BOS, in FORêT. So in a way, both of these things are there in all these words. So I'll combine them once more again. So I have this physical thing which can be described from inside out, from the viewpoint of someone's going in, or from the outwards where things are spreading outwardly. And it will also have that, it will be physically contained in this O, physically contained in what we go in the things that go in and say until where is this expression, or at the outwardly breaking open. It's the same thing. It's also contained within O, and then via the S, which is in all of these, which is in the two of these words, the energy will be contained there and will have that feedback back in. So you can see and sense that these processes are there for each of these words. It depends on how you describe it. You can have the description of the physicality from inside out, from the tree, as if it's from the tree spreading its wings, or it's from outside spreading its leaves. It's growing in the forest and it's almost losing itself at that point. But the feedback gets it back to a point of that this is a place where you can focus upon, or it is even getting that feedback process back to where you can also balance it out. And this balance can be sensed physically, but it can also be sensed spiritually or literally. The forest will also have that effect that when you have this, everything goes in all directions and you don't know where to go to, this forest will calm that down and it will contain it. It will have that effect as well. That's also one of the communications via words, which are describing not just that physical place, that physical thing, but also that kind of communication that is contained from within. I hope this was clear enough. The descriptions in a physical sense, how I described it, were a bit loosely, almost chaotically, but I think you understood what I was expressing. Okay, thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.